All right, the practice for Unit 4, Lesson 2, Factor Completely. At first glance, we notice this is a 4-term polynomial. 4 terms get divided in half. You take out what you can take out, the greatest common factor in the first half. So if you know your factors of 40, 8 actually goes into a 40, so I can take out the whole 8. And then both terms have x's. The greatest number of x's that both term has is 2. So both terms have at least 2 x's. So when I reduce this, I get a 5 and an x. Bring the sign down, and the same thing over the same thing is a 1 when I took out the 8x squared. Okay? So that means I go over here, right, 5x minus 1. How do we turn these two terms into 5x minus 1? Well, what they have in common is a positive 5, right? If I take out a negative 5, that'll fix the signs for me, right? Negative 25 divided by a negative 5 is a positive 5. Positive 5 divided by negative 5 is a negative 1. What they have in common is 5x minus 1, so their greatest common factor is that, and then what's left gets in parentheses together. Okay? 4 term, divide in half. Looks like you can take some r's out of both of these, so r squared. 3 minus 2 is 1r. 2 r's over 2 r's. The r's go away. Okay? Think about that. 3r to the third over r squared. That's r to the 3 minus 2 equals r to the 1, or just plain r. Okay? So that's what goes here. And then the r squared minus r squared is r to the 0, or 1, or no r's left. Okay? And go over here and write 3r minus 2. How do we get this to look like 3r minus 2? Well, let's divide by a negative 3 to do it. Right? Negative 3 is a 3, positive 3 with an r left. And then positive 6 divided by negative 3 is a negative 2. All right, so that makes that the greatest common factor. And what's left goes in parentheses by themselves. All right, this one says hint change order, mostly because you notice the constant is in the middle. So let's take that out, kind of move it down and see. It's kind of a guess and check thing. See if this will work. Let's see, take out the y, you're left with x plus 4, right? Take a y out of both of those. If you go over here, can I make this look like x plus 4? Well, double negative. Let's see, if I take out a negative 9, that'll work, right? That leaves an x here, and a negative 9 into a negative 36 is a positive 4. So that's what they have in common, and that's what's left. Now this one doesn't say to change order, but it looks a little suspicious because I can't take anything out of these two terms. So this turns out to be a change order. They're just not going to tell you, okay? So I'm going to keep the first one the same. I'm just going to move the constant to the end, okay? There are several different things you can do, but there actually is a couple of combinations that won't work the way that it is now, and I believe there's another one that won't work either. So it's a guess and check to figure out which ones. Let's try this one. We can take a y out, and we're going to leave with x plus 9. So x squared plus 9, if I divide this by what? If I divide this by 3, I'll get that. So positive 3. That makes that the common factor, and what's left goes together. Okay? So when you have to change order, usually it works to take out the constant and put it at the end. Remember what a constant is. A constant is a term that doesn't have a variable or a letter in it. Okay, try that first. Move it to the end. It's a guess and check kind of thing, and see if you can take something out and if it works. Okay.